Nice.
Nailed it.
There's a little town up next to, looks like it's next to Alaska in the very north western point of Canada where they have a download speed average of 0.12 megabits per second.
Oh my gosh.
Is that the Yukon?
I don't know. I don't know where that is. It's
Yukon.
lousy, though.
There's gold in them thar hills, but no bandwidth.
They have better internet on the northernmost point at 1.2 megabyte.
It's probably because there might be a mine up there.
Could be. Never trust those mines, Roger. Ever.
Well, like if you have a mine operation, invariably you're going to have a large, or at least moderate-sized company.
Don't trust the mines, Roger.
Or mimes, for that matter. Don't trust mimes.
Oh, everyone gives a hard time to mimes. They're just trying to earn a living like
you're
everyone
right.
else.
You're right. We should be nicer to mimes.
Sure.
I mean, they busk for a living, like the living statues, or the guys that pop and lock, or
They look like
the really obnoxious ones are the ones that beat on the buckets, the upside-down buckets, like they're drumming.
Oh, I actually like those.
Yeah.
I know. I'm alone. No one else likes them.
You are alone, Tom.
Yeah.
Spinning
very
through
lonely.
space.
Appreciator.
Speaking of appreciate, want to appreciate some titles?
Yeah,
Sure. I'd love
All
to.
right. Top is Apple's thinnest audio.
Mhm.
Next is pretty much, this is my favorite, guacamole. Like
Isn't it-
guacamole.
Oh, God.
See? It's almost
Because-
like a dad joke.
Wait, is it because you put onion in guacamole?
You
See,
can.
because the Univision owns. Never mind.
Guacamole. I mean, it's borderline racist, but whatever. It's pretty funny. Internet gets Army.
Mhm.
Intel.
Internet or Intel?
Intel. I'm sorry, I
Oh,
meant
yeah,
Intel,
okay.
not Army.
That Intel makes more sense. Yeah.
Sorry, Internet. Intel gets Army. Twitch goes from bad to curse.
Yeah.
These are all dad jokes.
You guys are on today with the dad
Yeah.
jokes anyway.
Dad
Automatic for the people movers. That's a REM reference.
Nice. Yeah, I like it.
Jacking with audio. Oh, this is good. C, the letter C, no dongle, here no audio. Like USB-C,
That's high
like-
concept, Steve I.
Yeah.
Is
See
it?
no dongle, hear no audio.
Kind of like it.
I do.
I know. I can tell you the one you're not going to use.
Which one?
Boya?
Jacking with audio. You're not doing that one.
Probably not. Probably
Nope.
not. Dark Redeemer. I'm sorry to say.
Yeah.
As elegant as there is, to be
Oh,
honest.
great. Somebody's trying to throw me under the bus. Scott Johnson says Pinterest is for women as a system.
Oh, of course. That's because you protested too much.
I
It's
did.
not for women, it's for women and women like men.
No, it's not even that. It's for people who like visual things.
It's okay, I understand we all have our hobbies.
It's great for food too.
We all have our hobbies. I'm just playing with you. I use Pinterest. You know, the only reason why I don't like Pinterest is because you have to sign up to use it.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'd rather just browse
Actually, you know, Facebook's done that now too. Before you could visit like a Facebook page without logging in.
Mm-hmm.
Like but now they want you to log in. That's good.
Well, it
Hey,
depends if it's a public page, they'll let you, I think, won't they?
no, they will, but they'll immediately pop up that big box on the bottom that says to join Facebook.
Yeah.
It's annoying. So Twitch is now cursed is number 1, followed by guacamole.
I like Intel Gets Army too. Twitch is now cursed and Intel Gets Army are my favorite non-main topic ones.
A little
See no dongle, hear no audio
It's pretty good.
is my top on topic one.
Yeah, I like that one.
I don't need to choose quite the second, so I'm going to let you vote if you're watching
Yeah,
live
vote away,
or
people.
listening live. Go to
Well, what's-
showbot.tv.
You know what's interesting about the Intel ARM story is that unlike AMD, which divested its foundry business and they sold it, Intel seems intent on keeping theirs, but they're just going to find additional customers to use the service. do, 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 do.
I kind of like a little dongle do ya. A little dongle do ya.
It's kind of lewd.
It's a little lewd, but I like the use of dongle. It's not bad.
Yeah, just using dongle is always lewd.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about see no dongle, hear no audio, honestly.
Please
Yeah.
don't pull on my dongle. Right? Is he?
Yeah.
Suddenly, everyone gets taken
Please.
back to junior high
Please.
Yep.
on the playground after lunch. Play wall ball, man. Sakoki.
Twisting Intel's arm. Intel does more arm than good. Oh,
Ah.
I can't.
It's a little too harsh in
Yeah.
its
Yeah, because
implication.
it's
A lot of these are like that. It's like Twitch goes from bad to curse, or Apple's
Little dongle do you just race to the top.
Amazon likes to curse. Nice.
Amazon's cursed service.
Interesting ads coming soon.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Intel gains an arm, loses audio jack.
That's working hard.
Apple's
that's doing the
argument
Lord's
is
work right
thin.
there.
But they really like that dongle one.
A little donga do you? Intel gets army guacamole.
Guacamole will be my private favorite. That's my favorite just because it's great, but I also agree it's borderline offensive.
I kind of want to do Intel gets army. I'll be honest.
Gets army.
Is that cool with you guys?
I think that one's fine.
Anyone want to make a case for one of the others?
It's in second freaking place. I think the only other one I'd fight with would be see no angle, hear no audio, but it's a little heady. I think Intel gets army is pretty good.
Yeah.
You go, Beatmaster.
Go.
Dropping those beats. So,
He is the master of them.
oh, I got a coughing fit. I'm so glad you were talking when I had it.
When was that?
I know you didn't even notice. I was
No,
hoping
I didn't.
you notice. I drank like half a gallon of water during that, trying to quell it.
Itchy throat.
Oh. You know, because I'm at the tail end, and so now it's like that dry cough from nowhere that you can't stop.
Oh yeah, and it comes out of nowhere. You don't even know it's there, and then suddenly your throat seizes up. I hate that.
You get it in like high school, and you'd have to leave class, and it's the worst.
Did you ever get detention?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got 2 weeks once for throwing, or no, there are two separate occasions. Both were 2 week suspensions. One was for throwing an ice ball at a building outside.
Wait, an ice ball? Like
Yeah, well, because the snow had all turned kind of wet slush ice, and it was against the rules to throw any snowballs at all because kids were getting beaten in the head and hurt. And I just happened to throw one against one of those portable buildings, the little extras, and got seen by the VP right when I did it. And I had to follow him around and be basically his servant for 2 weeks at school instead of going to class. So it wasn't even like a home suspension, which was a real bummer. And then the other time was when this kid copied artwork in my 8th grade drawing class, and he copied my entire thing, didn't know about it, turned it in before I had a chance to turn mine in, and was getting a grade before me. And I was so mad. And I've never done this since or before, but I was so mad. All I did was just haul off and hit him as hard as I could in the nose. So I punched him in the nose. First and only fight I ever got in. And I had so much adrenaline that I didn't feel a thing, but I broke his.
Oh.
Uh-oh, I think he broke the internet there.
He broke what?
Wow, I caught him mid-frame, too, with the anger.
That's
Well,
so
I've
weird.
never been suspended from high school.
I was never suspended, but I did get detention a few
I
times.
got borderline.
I didn't have anything that was close to the story that Scott was telling, though.
I got borderline suspended for dropping water balloons on people from the second story bathroom.
I think the worst thing I did was I just walked out of chemistry class one day to go to the bathroom without asking, and the teacher was in the middle of a lecture. And that's the most angry I ever saw a teacher with me.
You said everyone froze. Yeah, you froze. Oh, please come.
Yeah, you froze, and right as you were telling us about the clincher part.
So much adrenaline that you didn't even feel your hand break against the man's or the
Oh,
other.
yeah, I broke my pinky, bone stuck out and everything. Had to get it set. Got suspended for 2 weeks. It was bad.
I was telling my lame story about how I walked out of chemistry class in the middle of the lecture to go to the bathroom without asking. That was like the maddest I ever saw a teacher with me.
I got hauled off for dropping water balloons, But it's funny, every fight I've gotten into, no figure of authority was within like 100 feet.
I
And
got into
I
fights
never
in
understood that.
elementary school, but not in high school.
Like junior high, I got like into fights for like the first half of sixth grade, and no, like yeah, no figures of authority at any time.
This is why I
Except,
never wanted to be a teacher, is because I'm like, I know we all got into fights all the time, and I can't imagine having to be the person trying to stop all that.
I remember the one in seventh or eighth grade that like the yard was actually raised and behind the school because it's built into the side of a hill, and like it was a lunch recess, and I guess two kids were going at it, and suddenly you see like 100+ kids just start make like a donut shape, like a fight circle, and everyone says fight, 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 and these two kids are wailing on each other. I was like, shouldn't there be a monitor or something up here trying to break this up?
Somebody should be. I wasn't much of a fighter, though.
You're a lover, not a fighter.
Not a fighter.
You didn't take enough martial arts to drill the anger into a focused blow.
It got me into well, yeah, I definitely swung wrong. Like I shouldn't have broken anything when I did it, but it got me all sorts of fame and stuff with like jocks and people. Like,
well, who was it you were hitting?
Some nerd in our class. Well, no, I shouldn't say nerd.
Listen to you. Wow, no wonder you're so popular with the jocks, beating up on nerds. The cover is blown off Scott Johnson.
Dang it. No, he was a big kid in this class who just copied my art. I don't think I really knew him outside of that, and I just was so mad. It was one of those experiences where you realize that sometimes instinct and like adrenaline and I don't know, animal stuff kicks in and you just don't have the kind of control you thought you had. Because I remember it freaked me out. When I was done, I was like, all right, that is not happening again, because it's kind of scared me.
You scared yourself?
Yeah. I didn't think I was capable of that. I was supposed to be this like nice, quiet nerd guy that didn't ever hit anybody.
You know what though? Like I was picked on relentlessly. And I remember in seventh grade, this kid, his nickname was Ox, believe it or not. He was this big Chinese kid, and he just picked on me for no reason. Like he would single me out in the crowd. Like, I don't even know you, dude. Why do you keep picking on me? And I remember he used to just shove and punch me. Like just I'm walking like home, he would just come up and punch me in the back of the head.
He probably liked you.
Maybe, but there's a point where I just kind of snapped. Like, and people used at that point and moving forward, anyone who messed with it, I just like snapped at them. Like I would swing at them, or I'd like try to get them in a chokehold, and then I put my knee on the back of their legs so they couldn't stand up on the ground.
Ah, the first Changri incidents.
I just started rolling, snowballing from there.
Yeah.
And then high school came around, and I kind of got better. I focused my energies into walking a very, very long walk home because I had like a super suburban high school.
It was 5th and 6th grade that I went through that period, and then I settled down by junior high. But yeah, what is that? Is that just a natural like tribal tendency to like?
Maybe. So like adolescent mammals like elephants and stuff go through that. They reach a period where they're 14 or 15 and they're just dangerous to be around by even by other elephants. Like they stay away from them because they're just like testosterone.
Because you need the aggression to defend the pack, and in human cases to do hunting.
Well, not just
but
to
you
defend.
need to have the limits on it. So you need that period of time where the aggression can grow, but the limits can be learned.
So, the whole thing where they say teenagers think they're invincible? I think that's a evolutionary trait because when, for example, a pride of lion, like a new male lion comes out, the challenger lion is typically younger, more aggressive because they don't know any better. They think they live forever. So it's like, well, I'm going to try to kick this old man off his high perch of hoarding all these women to himself, and I'll take over. And then they get into it. But evolution has made it so that only the ones that eventually learn from their mistakes come out on top. It's like who's an up-and-coming fighter? It's like fighting against George Foreman. Like he might be bigger and slow, but man, he can wallop your ass.
Did you say up and coming? That young buck.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like some young buck coming up to like George Foreman. It's like, yeah, I can punch you. You got the aggression, you got the speed, but you don't necessarily have the skill set yet or George Foreman's, right hook.
Yeah. He's I heard a story the other day on NPR somewhere about him and the grill and how that all came about. It was fascinating. That guy's super interesting. He's not just this bombastic pitchman guy post boxing.
He invented the actual grill?
Well, it got brought to him by a failing brand, and he picked it up with his and put his name on it. And then him and his team pushed it. But just learning about how they made that successful versus all this other stuff that kind of tanked for them, it was really interesting. I was fascinated by it. I want to say it was like Planet Money or something.
I'm always fascinated, like when MSNBC or maybe NPR like do a story on like brands that have failed or people who've worked with failing brands, and eventually they figure out what they've done wrong and they get the hit product out. But what's obvious is it's never obvious what the failing is, right? Other than it just wasn't popular, right? It's attributed to like timing, price point, changing tastes or whatever. And it's like, but how do you know whether or not something is just, falling out of favor? Like, I mean, there is bejeweling stuff, I'm sure, is out of fashion, but how did Ronco know, or K-Tel or whatever, figure that was a thing to begin with? How do they know, people?
I feel like that's a confirmation bias. We see something unexpectedly successful and we think, oh, there was a person out there who figured out it would be successful and put it out. What we don't pay attention to is the number of things that are tried that fail. And so it's not that they knew bedazzling would be successful. It's that they had this idea, they put it out there, and they just lucked out at timing.
So it's all down to luck.
It's the amount, there's like literally millions, probably more products being tried every day, and we only see the successes.
Well, because bedazzling, isn't that just a version of like stud or not studs, but like putting rivets in your jacket?
It's like a viral video. Like why does one particular video go viral and not another?
Yeah. Or in the case of it's not so much that the world's ready for bedazzling, it's that they place a bet that if, hey, we do this weird thing, we bet we can get so many people to be interested in it, and then it becomes a thing.
Well, and what I'm saying is millions of those bets are placed every year,
right? But
only a few of them succeed, and then we look at them, and because it's so complex for something to become successful, it's like predicting the weather. Like you can maybe come up with a few best practices, but you can't guarantee.
Yeah, it's like, why Facebook? Why not Friendster? Why?
Right.
Like, if you could get all the information somehow and then parse it, maybe you could come up with answers. But I think a lot of it is just...
Well, that's what's going to happen. Machine learning will figure out how viral videos and products become hits, and then they'll design only the hits, and then there won't be any businesses anymore because you will only have machine learning products.
Oh, wow. There's a Business Insider article about how, maybe you saw this, Mark Zuckerberg says in an interview, or at least indicates in an interview, that he regrets having to spend $2 billion on Oculus to get into VR.
That's such a misleading headline.
It is, because
he said, "I wish I would have bought it earlier when it was cheaper." It's like, wow, said everybody who ever bought anything ever.
Yeah, he says things like, "We wish we would have built something up in house."
Yeah, right.
That's not the same as we regret.
I mean, it's mildly interesting, but I did see it. They're trying. I feel like they're trying to make more out of it. Like, it is Zuckerberg admitting a mistake, I suppose. Like, we should have got on that earlier. But yeah, I don't know. It did not blow me away.
It's not like them going, "Oh, we've made a horrible error."
Yeah, no, and that's what the headline sort of leads you to think of the first time you read it. Is like, oh, Zuckerberg regrets buying Oculus. Like, no, he regretted buying it when it was $2 billion.
I don't like the headline. It's bad. All headlines are bad.
And it's like, at the time he bought Oculus, a lot of people were still questioning whether he should have or not. So, I don't know.
And I think you could look at the current sales rate and stuff and still question it. So,
I regret not buying Microsoft in 1983.
Yeah.
Or whenever it was that they IPO'd.
I forgot. I regret not buying really cheap Apple stock in 95.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I regret it.
I regret not buying U.S. Steel stock in 1912.
Oh, yeah? Well, I regret not buying tea from the British Wait, that's bad. That would have gone. It lost its value. Never mind.
Yeah, no, you don't regret that.
Did you see this story? I just saw this in the BBC. Ryan Lochte and James Fagan ordered to stay in Brazil.
Yeah, but the story when I read it wasn't sure if they were still there.
Well, like, what are they like? Is it because they're?
Well, according to the story, it's because there are questions about their story of getting robbed in the taxi. They think they made up the story.
Okay.
And the authorities want to know what really happened.
But if nothing,
it's like filing a false police report.
okay. But like, do you keep someone in country till that's solved? Typically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
I mean, generally they would just drop the case. Like, all right, we don't believe you.
Well, it depends on the circumstances.
Well, I know, but that's
so turn it around. Turn it around. Explain to me a situation where someone has reported a crime that was not a lie that would require the police to keep them in the country. You can come up with that scenario, I'm sure.
Typically, if it involves like, large theft of money or a murder, homicide.
There you go.
So did someone die though?
I don't know. We don't know.
But that's what I'm saying. If it's toward the case of them lying about the case, no one died. They just said their belongings were.
Maybe somebody did die. Maybe more went missing than just what they reported.
Well, that seems a little vague.
Maybe there was a huge hit on a club. The people said, if you report your goods stolen, we will come and find you and kill you. So Lochte said, well, we want to report our stuff stolen because we're going to get in trouble. But let's just say it was taken from the taxi. And then the feds started figuring out there was a robbery at the club. And now they're like, no, you guys, you're witnesses in a federal crime case. We need you to stay in the country.
But then wouldn't the French Olympic team have mentioned something?
Because
they said they were attending a French Olympic team's at the hospitality house. That's where they were coming back from.
Maybe they were before they went to the club.
It's a little too vague to hold someone.
No, it's not vague. We just don't know all the details.
Yeah. We know that their passports have been.
Have they?
Yeah. Oh well, one of Ryan Lochte's back in the U.S. supposedly.
Well, when I read it, they said they didn't know whether he had gone or not.
Lochte, Fagan, and two other members of the U.S. swimming team. Lochte's lawyer told the BBC he got back to the U.S. 2 days ago.
Oh yeah, okay. Remember, also Brazilian judges have ordered WhatsApp shut down 3 times, so they.
I'm just trying to figure out because it doesn't make sense with the details that I have in this story.
You know what the rule of thumb is with swimmers is don't trust swimmers. And the reason I say that is because I had listen, it's all based on bad high school experiences, but I did. So whatever they say, blow it off.
Well, and the police generally don't give out details for ongoing investigations. So the police are only saying the CCTV recordings at the Olympic Village don't match up with when Lochte and Fagan said they got back to the village. So they obviously have something else they need to investigate.
Maybe.
Or maybe the judge is just being punitive.
Perhaps. I don't know. I don't think there's anything foul. I'm just curious. Like, is it just because they're missing 3 hours, so they can't leave the country until those 3 hours are accounted for?
No, I think there's more to it than that. I think you're right.
Well, like, is there something that happened in the 3 hours?
That's what yeah. The world wants to know.
Do they? Apparently, the BBC put it on the front page.
Well, yeah, exactly. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Have a lovely day. Spray chrome in your mouth.
No, don't spray chrome in your mouth.
Because it's a lovely day.
It's a lovely day. I want to watch that again. It'd be my night.